Welcome to Daily English Stories. Every story hides a world. Some inspire, some haunt, some stay forever. Chapter 1. Starting the Day. The sun had just risen, casting a warm glow through the half-open blinds. Alice, still in her cozy robe, cradled a cup of steaming coffee as she answered the call. "Morning, Bob," she said with a smile in her voice. "Morning, Alice. Did you eat already?" Bob asked, his voice cheerful, yet still a little groggy. Alice chuckled. "I did. Just finished a bowl of oatmeal with bananas and honey. You?" "Oatmeal, huh?" "I went with eggs and toast. Needed the protein," Bob replied. Alice raised an eyebrow. "Eggs again? You eat eggs almost every day." "I like the routine," Bob laughed. "But hey, don't knock it. Eggs are brain food." "I'm not knocking anything. I just need something sweet in the morning," Alice said, sipping her coffee. Bob leaned back in his chair. "You and your sweet tooth. So, no smoothies today?" "I had one yesterday. Blueberries, almond milk, and chia seeds. Today felt like an oatmeal day." They both paused for a second, the sounds of morning filling the silence. Birds chirping outside Alice's window, and the hum of Bob's refrigerator. "It's funny how breakfast sets the tone for the day," Bob mused. "It really does," Alice agreed. "Sometimes I wonder if the food we eat decides what kind of day we'll have." "Well, in that case, I hope my eggs give me a super productive one," Bob joked. "And I hope my oatmeal keeps me warm and happy," Alice replied, smiling. Their day had just begun, and already their simple breakfast conversation had sparked something deeper. How daily choices, no matter how small, shaped the moments ahead. Chapter 2. Lunchtime Habits. Bob: "So, Alice, what do you usually have for lunch during the week?" Alice: "It depends, but I try to keep it balanced. I love colorful meals, grilled chicken or salmon with quinoa and lots of veggies." Bob: "That sounds really nutritious. I usually stick with something quick, like a turkey sandwich or a salad. Sometimes both if I'm really hungry." Alice: "Do you prep your lunches in advance?" Bob: "I try to, especially on Sundays. I make a big batch of grilled chicken and roasted veggies. That way, I can just grab and go." Alice: "Same here. I make overnight grain bowls or pasta salads with beans, nuts, and veggies. It saves so much time and helps me avoid takeout." Bob: "Definitely. Eating out every day adds up, and not just in money." Alice: "Exactly. And homemade food just feels better. You know what's in it." Bob: "True. Do you eat at your desk or take a break?" Alice: "I try to step away, even if it's just 15 minutes. Sitting outside helps reset my brain." Bob: "I need to do that more. I usually eat while working and then realize I didn't even taste the food." Alice: "We should make it a habit. Lunch away from the screen. It's healthier for both body and mind." Bob: "Deal. Let's hold each other accountable." Chapter 3. Snack Time. Alice: "Hey, Bob, do you snack during the day?" Bob: "Oh, absolutely, especially in the afternoon. Around 3 p.m., I always feel a little dip in energy." Alice: "Same here. What do you usually grab?" Bob: "It depends. Sometimes a granola bar, other times a small handful of almonds or a banana. I try to keep it healthy, but occasionally a cookie sneaks in." Alice: "Ha! I get it. I usually go for Greek yogurt with honey or some apple slices with peanut butter. It's sweet, but still gives me that protein boost." Bob: "That sounds delicious. I need to try that combo. I've heard yogurt is good for digestion too." Alice: "It really is. And it keeps me full till dinner. Do you keep your snacks at work or bring them from home?" Bob, a bit of both. I usually bring a snack in the morning, but I also have a drawer at my desk with mixed nuts and some dried fruit. Alice, that's smart. I prep a few small snack boxes every Sunday. Makes it so easy to just grab one during the week. Bob, you're way more organized than I am. I might steal that idea. Alice, please do. Snacking doesn't have to be mindless or unhealthy. Just a little planning helps. Bob, totally agree. I've noticed when I snack smart, I don't overeat at dinner either. Alice, exactly. Balanced snacks, balanced meals. Bob, so next time we meet, let's swap snack box ideas? Alice, deal. I'll bring my best recipe. Chapter 4. Dinner and Cooking Routines. Dinner was always something special for both Bob and Alice. After a long day, it wasn't just about eating. It was about slowing down, enjoying the moment, and sharing something warm and fulfilling. Alice often leaned toward lighter, colorful meals. She enjoyed grilling, vegetables, chicken, or fish, anything that sizzled with flavor without feeling too heavy. Stir-fries were another favorite of hers, quick to make, full of crunch and color, and endlessly customizable depending on what was in the fridge. For her, dinner was a time to unwind and get a little creative in the kitchen. Bob, on the other hand, found comfort in hearty meals. He loved making big batches of pasta, sometimes creamy, sometimes rich with tomato and herbs. Soups, too, were a go-to. A steaming bowl of lentil or minestrone served with a side of crusty bread could make any day feel just a little bit better. Though their tastes sometimes differed, they both shared a deep appreciation for home-cooked meals. On weekends, they'd often try new recipes together. Alice chopping vegetables while Bob stirred a bubbling sauce on the stove. It was one of their favorite ways to spend time, talking, laughing, tasting, adjusting flavors, and making something together from scratch. As the evening light faded and the kitchen filled with delicious smells, dinner became more than just a routine. It was their time to reconnect, relax, and nourish both body and spirit. Chapter 5. Balanced Diets and Treats. Alice stirred the oats in her pot slowly, watching the creamy texture form as the morning light streamed through the window. Bob, seated at the kitchen island with a mug of herbal tea, admired her calm rhythm. "You know," he said, "I never really appreciated how much food affects my mood until we started eating cleaner." Alice smiled. "Same. I used to just grab whatever was quick, cereal, frozen meals, snacks. But since we've focused more on whole foods, I actually feel more stable, less tired, more clear-headed." Their daily conversations had slowly evolved into a deeper understanding of nutrition. It wasn't just about calories anymore. It was about feeling good, inside and out. Together, they made a conscious choice to eat with intention. Most of their meals were home-cooked with fresh vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. They made sure their plates looked colorful: green spinach, red bell peppers, golden sweet potatoes, and the occasional sprinkle of nuts or seeds. "It's funny how our bodies actually crave the good stuff when we stop flooding them with junk," Bob said, slicing avocado for their breakfast. "Right? I used to think I could never live without chips," Alice laughed. "Now, I genuinely prefer roasted chickpeas." They both had their past habits. Alice had a weakness for sugary lattes and packaged granola bars. Bob used to skip breakfast entirely and then snack non-stop at night. But now they helped each other stay on track. Sundays were for meal prepping, making quinoa salads, marinating chicken, chopping veggies for stir-fry, and boiling eggs for easy snacks. Still, they weren't strict. They didn't count calories or label foods as bad. Instead, they focused on balance. If they had pizza one night, the next day might be a fresh salad with grilled salmon. If Bob baked bread, they'd pair it with hearty soup and greens. It was about listening to their bodies and trusting the rhythm they had built. And when it came to dessert, oh, they absolutely made room for it. Life without chocolate, Alice said one evening, as they sat down with two small bowls of homemade banana ice cream topped with dark chocolate drizzle. No thanks. Agreed, Bob grinned. It's not about denying ourselves. It's about choosing what really satisfies. They agreed that having a sweet treat once in a while wasn't cheating. It was celebrating. Whether it was a slice of almond cake, a square of rich dark chocolate, or warm fruit with cinnamon. Dessert had its rightful place in their lifestyle. In the end, their idea of healthy eating wasn't rigid or joyless. It was full of flavor, variety, and kindness. And more than anything, it was something they did together, one thoughtful meal at a time. Chapter 6: Favorite Cuisines and Food Experiments. Alice twirled her fork thoughtfully in a bowl of homemade pasta as she looked across the table. You know what's funny? I used to think cooking was boring, just another chore. But now, it's kind of like a little adventure in the kitchen. Bob laughed. Exactly. Especially when you're trying to recreate something you had at a restaurant and hope it doesn't turn into a complete disaster. They had both recently started experimenting more with cooking, each inspired by different cuisines. Alice had a deep love for Italian food. Her favorites were creamy risottos, fresh basil pesto, and of course, pasta made from scratch. She described the joy of kneading dough, watching it transform under her hands, and the way the aroma of garlic and olive oil filled her kitchen like a warm hug. Bob, on the other hand, leaned toward bolder flavors. "Give me spice," he grinned. He was obsessed with Asian cuisine, Thai curries, Chinese dumplings, Japanese ramen. There's something so satisfying about layering flavors. Like 1 minute you've got sweet, then salty, then heat sneaks in. Alice nodded. I tried making pad thai once. It was interesting. Bob smirked. Interesting good or interesting bad? I'll just say I have a new respect for the people who do it professionally, she chuckled. They also discovered a mutual love for Mexican food. From sizzling fajitas to homemade tacos with fresh salsa, the colors, textures, and vibrant flavors made every meal feel like a celebration. Bob mentioned how he had once made a batch of tamales from scratch, an effort that took him an entire day and left the kitchen looking like a tornado had passed through. But the end result was so worth it. Food isn't just food anymore, Alice said after a moment. It's become something creative. It's fun, even if it doesn't turn out perfect. Bob agreed. Exactly. There's something satisfying about saying, I made this. Like, I brought this flavor to life. They laughed over failed soufflés, over spiced stews, and that one time Bob mistook sugar for salt in a noodle dish. Yet even the disasters had become cherished memories, moments of laughter and learning. They began planning their next kitchen experiment together, maybe sushi, or perhaps a Moroccan tagine. It wasn't about impressing anyone, or even getting it exactly right. It was about exploring, sharing, and enjoying the process. You know, Alice said, I think we've come a long way from boxed mac and cheese. Bob raised his glass of sparkling water to growth and burnt garlic. They clinked glasses, smiling at the thought of all the delicious discoveries still waiting in their little kitchen. Chapter 7: Inspiration and Final Thoughts. Allie leaned back in her chair and smiled. You know, Bob, one of the things I love about food is how it connects people. Like us, for example. We started talking just to practice English, and now look at us. We've covered snacks, meals, recipes, everything. Bob chuckled. You're right, Allie. And it's not just about eating, it's about exploring, sharing, and sometimes even failing in the kitchen together. They both laughed. Allie said, Do you follow any food bloggers or watch cooking shows? Bob nodded enthusiastically. Oh yes, I love watching short cooking videos on Instagram. There's this one guy who makes everything look so simple. I tried one of his 15-minute pasta recipes last week. It actually worked. Allie smiled. I follow a woman who makes healthy desserts. Her videos are so calming, and I get so many ideas just by watching how she mixes ingredients. Bob leaned forward with curiosity. Is she the one who always adds chia seeds and almond flour? Yes, Allie grinned. That's her. They laughed again. Allie continued, I think seeing other people cook gives me the confidence to try things on my own. It's like, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Bob agreed. Exactly. And even when it doesn't turn out perfect, it's still fun. Like the time I tried making dumplings and they all stuck together. It looked terrible, but tasted amazing. I remember that, Allie said. You even sent me the photo. It looked like a food blob. Don't remind me, Bob laughed. A moment of quiet passed between them, a soft smile on each of their faces. Food brings people together, Allie said quietly. And conversations like these make learning English so much more fun. Bob nodded. I feel the same. It's not just about vocabulary or grammar. It's about real connection. Real life Allie looked thoughtful. So what's next? Should we try cooking the same recipe and compare how it turns out? Bob's eyes lit up. That's a great idea. Let's pick something easy for the first round. Maybe a pasta dish? Deal, Allie said. And we can even take pictures to show each other. As their chat came to an end, they both felt a warm sense of excitement, not just for the food, but for the shared journey they were on. Practicing English had brought them closer, but it was their love for food that made the connection stronger. Same time next week? Bob asked. Absolutely, Allie replied. And just like that, what started as a simple conversation about snacks had turned into a meaningful friendship, seasoned with laughter, curiosity, and a shared love for delicious food.